is on Monday, April 15th, Christina Campbell will be speaking, and she is from the UC Botanical Gardens. She's the head volunteer propagator of California native plants. So I can only imagine she'll be talking about California native plants. And so we are so lucky to have such a great resource in the Bay Area. So every time they come, they do such a great job. And so I look forward to that one. And then on Monday, May 13th, John King from the San Francisco Chronicle, he's the urban design critic, will be coming to speak about, he has a new book out, but he joined the paper in 1992, and he's been in his current position since 2001. His writing on architecture and urban design has been honored by groups including the California Preservation Foundation, the Society of Professional Journalists, and the California chapter of the American Institute of Architects and American Planning Association. And I didn't realize this, he was a finalist for the Pulitzer Prize for Criticism in 2002 and 2003. So he'll be speaking about his new book, I think it's called Cityscapes. He also leads tours, architectural tours in San Francisco. So that's what's coming, and I'm here to introduce Dan Hess from the library, who will be introducing today's speaker. Thanks so much. Oh, I also want to just tell you just quickly, or Dan, maybe you want to tell them, that we are actually being filmed, and you can catch this on cable, and you can tell them the station.
KALB, Albany. I guess this really is the Wild West because even artists have posses. So, okay, Cathy McAuliffe is here from SF Bay Area Urban Sketchers, and she has several fellow artists with her. And they're going to be talking about local sketching and just seeing the world around us with artistic eyes. And part of today's talk is going to be a little sketch crawl outside or in the library, wherever you choose to go. And there are many things to look at in the library that are very colorful, and you might want to just record them on your piece of art. Okay, so Cathy McAuliffe from SF Bay Urban Sketchers.
Yeah. Hello. We are here. Our group put an exhibit in the exhibit case in January, which showed a lot of our sketches, and part of my sketch group is right here with us.
It was a very nice exhibit.
Thank you. And we are a small group of a bigger group called Urban Sketchers, which is a worldwide group. It has they're in 30 countries, groups like ours that contribute to their webpage and show our sketches to other sketchers. So our group meets every week and on a Tuesday evening, and we sketch just locally, Berkeley, Oakland, El Cerrito, around here. We also have here we are again. We also have an invitation open to anyone to come on the first Tuesday evening of the month and come sketch with us. And pretty much what we do is, like I said, do our sketches. So it's a nice group of people. We go to really interesting places. And then we post our sketches up on our website for everybody to see. And that's sort of a big part of the Urban Sketchers, is to share your sketches. And of course, you don't need to share them if you don't want, but I think we enjoy looking at other people's sketches. We assume they enjoy looking at ours. So this is a little bit of the information about what Urban Sketchers is, the official group. It started from a really small group in Seattle, and like I said, it's gone to like 30 countries, many, many people in all those countries. The group also puts on a symposium every year. So this will be the 4th time they've done it, where about 300 or 400 people meet for 3 or 4 days, sketching, showing each other sketches, workshops, and things like that. So what I want to talk about today is Urban Sketchers, sort of why we sketch, how you can get started sketching, and information about how to find out things about sketching. I have a little slideshow that shows sketches from our group, many of them that were in the exhibit, some new ones. And then we encourage you to ask us any questions you have about, how we got started, what we use, anything to encourage you to come out and sketch with us. And then I was thinking we could do, like Dan said, a sketch crawl, which is it's actually an event that happens, again, worldwide every 2 or 3 months, where they pick a day. This is going to be a sketch crawl, and again, it's on their website. And people from all over the world go out sketching that day and then post their sketches. So you can look back the next day and see what happened in Japan that day, what happened in London, South Africa, everywhere, groups all over. So I thought we could do a little sketch crawl just outside or in the library, and then come back, and if you want, we'll just put our sketches up on the table and see what everybody did. It's kind of interesting to see sort of the same event, same area, the same cars through different people's eyes. So that's kind of fun. Most people, I think, started sketching when they go on vacation. You're away from your day-to-day life. You have time. You want to kind of keep a memory of what you did. You could see, you record your memories, kind of take the time to really see things instead of just looking at them. I think that's what happens for me when I sketch, that you're sitting there and like you really look at it instead of like everyone now has cell phones. Everyone's taken a million pictures. Either you hardly ever look at yours or no one else really, really cares to look at yours. Everybody wants to look at a sketchbook. It's, I think, much more personal. I was just in Hawaii and doing some sketches, and just the other day I was showing one of my sketchbooks, and I noticed that people were talking about one of my sketches. And this is a blow up. It was a little tiny sketch, but it was just a sketch of, a guy in an aloha shirt standing at the beach. And friends were talking about it, and here, I'll pass it around. And I got to thinking, if I'd taken a photograph of these two strangers standing on the beach in an aloha shirt, I don't think anybody would have really cared about even looking at it twice. So I think a lot of people start sketching when they travel and then end up realizing, you could sketch your local area. There's a lot going on here, your everyday life. And it's kind of an excuse to explore your own area. One thing, as we go sketching every week, we've gone to some really interesting places that I've never noticed maybe, or places that I've gone by a million times. And it's like, oh, we could stop there, go in and sketch. And we've met some great people, not only our sketch group, which is pretty great, but people, almost everybody. You meet if you're sitting there sketching, you can or cannot talk to people who come by. Everybody wants to see what you're doing. There's ways to ignore them if you want, but it's usually, I don't think any of us have ever gotten a bad comment from people like, wow, that's a really bad sketch, Everyone is very encouraging, like, wow, that's great, or, oh, my aunt used to sketch, or, people, it's a really great way just to talk to total strangers, usually very nice. One example is not only do you meet the people who come by while you're sketching, but one time we were sketching a Victorian house in Albany that I'd seen for years, and we finally decided we'd meet there one night and sketch, and there were just 3 of us. I was sketching across the street, and this guy pulled up in a car and said, oh, am I in your way? Did I park the car? I said, no, I'm doing the top of the house, So he came around and looked, and he was talking about the sketch, and so I finally said, is that your house? And he says, oh, yes, we just bought it. And I said, oh, it's really great. I looked at it forever, and there's 3 of us here tonight sketching. He says, do you want to come and see the inside? It's like, great. So the 3 of us went on a big tour of the house, the garden and everything. And I said, wow, there's 10 people in our group. I'm really sorry they're not all here tonight. He said, come back. So we made picked another date. 10 or 12 of us showed up for that. They had refreshments for us. He had his book of history of the house. He took us on a giant tour of the garden, naming every plant, all about the house. And finally, his wife said, I think they've come here to sketch. We should really let them do that. But that was just a great thing. we've never met him or been invited. So obviously we all enjoy it. We sketch, we put up our sketches. We have a little paper we'll hand out where you can find information on us and see examples of our work. I'm going to show you, I just now done some slides of our, what our group has posted, some of the sketches, which we can go through. To me, it's an interesting thing about the computer because one of the reasons I sketch is that I work on a computer all day. And so sketching is like the complete opposite of that, so it's a great way to not be on the computer. But on the other hand, without the computer and without the internet, there wouldn't be any of this sharing of sketches. So it's kind of a funny dynamic that's why I'm doing it, to get away from the computer. But on the other hand, it's all about the computer. So this is what the big group, sort of the goals of it are. It's very non-judgmental. Like I said, you never hear anybody say, God, that's really awful. They may think it, but they never, say it to you. Another interesting thing, because it's a worldwide group and we're all sort of on the same computer information, some of our sketchers have in their travels have contacted people in countries they're going to, met up with them to go sketching. We had a person from Berlin who was she was going to be in Berkeley, I think about 3 months. We got in contact with her. She came out sketching with us almost every week that she was here. So it's just these kind of connections that are just pretty great. So these are slides or sketches from different places we've gone, from different members of the group. Most of the sketches are obviously not quite this big. They're usually in a 6x9 sketchbook, maybe a little bit smaller. There's outside. Most of again, like the exhibit, I think you'll recognize a lot of the places. Most of them are local. If anybody from the group wants to say anything about any of the sketches, you can call out if you recognize them. But because we go all year round, we go in the evening because some of us work. So now that it's getting lighter, we'll go outside again. But for most of the winter, we're inside. And most businesses are very accommodating for us coming. We've been to the fire station. We've been grocery stores, a lot of cafes. We try not to do that every week. And obviously travels, not just local. And then when it's lighter, we stay out. It usually stays light till 8:30. And then at the end of our, each evening after we sketch, we all just get together and show the sketches, what everybody's done. Sometimes we take field trips we've been to Sacramento. Yeah, again, we eat, yes. This is a great German restaurant on San Pablo. They were wonderful. The food was good, too. The people were very nice. The beer was good, too, yes. So sketching and drinking. One of the interesting places we've sketched 2 or 3 times is Pastime Hardware. And in the evening, there aren't a lot of customers there. Another food spot. And the first time we went, they have by about 9 o'clock, they were getting ready to close. And the announcement was, pastime customers and art students, the store will be closing in 15 minutes, Please bring your purchases and sketches to the front. So.
Did you say something about the media that you use?
Oh, yes, we use usually watercolor. Some of them are just black and white sketches, and people paint them later, or sometimes paint them where we are. But usually it's a portable, it's not oil paint or anything.
So for those of us who don't sketch,
Mm-hmm.
really intrigued. So would you say that you start with pencil and then go to watercolor, or do you just do it in watercolor? Or is it
It varies. Some people do pencil, then watercolor. Some people do ink, then watercolor. Sometimes it's just ink. Sometimes it's just pencil. Sometimes it's colored pencil. We've all brought our little sketch kits to kind of show you the kind of books and the kind of materials.
marking pens?
Marking pens too?
You draw and then fill in with the watercolor later?
Sometimes, and sometimes if we're there for long enough, you could fill it in there. I think it's better if you can do it while you're there because it's right in front of you. So it's kind of, everybody has their own style. That's another thing. Everybody's style is different. And one of the things I do is I take Bart to work. So I realized, wow, there are all these models sitting on the train all that time. They're not moving. Usually they're sleeping, so they're really not moving. And so I just draw them with the pen. And I never put watercolor to that. So it's just, where you are and what you like to do. One of the things is we look at the different blogs from all around the country or all around the world, and there's all these people in Europe all winter. They're out in the freezing cold sketching. So this New Year's Day, we decided if they can do it, we can do it. So we met at the IKEA parking garage, and that's the view out over the bay. And it was so cold, we only stayed about half an hour. Kind of wimpy people, but, another landmark. We also went up to Tilden Park, where the merry-go-round in December, it's at night, only open at night, and it's all decorated for Christmas. So that was fun. Wasn't too cold though. Another food establishment, but. Mm-hmm.
You say we, so it's a group of you and you're all looking at the same scene?
Yes, we're all in the same area. So, like we'll meet. If we were going to meet at the library, we'd maybe fan out within a block. We're usually sitting around each other.
So it's like talking.
Yeah, sometimes. And it is interesting to see how different people sketch the same scene, the same subject.
Well, that's what I was,
Yeah.
if you cluster these with that in IKEA's parking lot, then everybody come up with something.
Well, some people sketch the IKEA building. Some people sketch the other direction, looking to the hills. So everybody kind of wanders around and picks the thing they think, probably the thing they like to draw, whether it's people or, yeah.
Do you do any critique of each other's work?
Can you repeat the question?
Oh, do we do any critiques? Not really. If people ask, like, oh, I don't know what I did wrong. It's like, why does this look so, like the cars up on the sidewalk? And then somebody will maybe offer a suggestion, but we're more supportive than critiquey,
We do get together at the end of the evening and sit down and just look at what we've done together.
Yeah, we always share what we've done, so.
Anybody ever come up and say, oh boy, that stinks?
Not yet. They couldn't come back the next week if they did that, yeah. And just seeing, I think you also get not necessarily a critique, but ideas of how you could have done it differently or how you could improve yours based on what the other people in your group are doing. Yeah, this is an interesting, this is also a nice thing with a group. Like I wouldn't have this is down on like 5th or, it's right down by the freeway. It's like, well, I don't think I'd go out and sit there in a chair by myself at 6 o'clock at night and sketch this, but there were like 8 of us doing it. So you felt better in a group to get out there.
Is that Janice?
No, it was Michaelis. And these are the quotes that are interspersed in here are people from the Urban Sketchers group and sort of why they do it. This was a display at Pastime Hardware. And so like when you're in Pastime, you're like walking around. So the things that you always walk by a million times when you're shopping, it's like, oh, that would be interesting to draw. Or someone in our group drew all the plastic owls that are in the rodent, department. So, and
Ever get into form or in anything like that, or not a critique, but considering form or other aspects of the art?
so do we ever get into like sort of studying or talking about it? Not so much in our like weekly groups, but each person in the group has also taken, when someone will take an art class, they usually bring back the information and share that with us. And again, for me, and I think for the group, it's kind of by example. You see some like great things. You can see, oh, wow, look how they drew that. Oh, I can improve mine by, doing that.
But we do discuss composition sometimes, we do discuss perspective, how people did this or did that. We talk about that.
Yeah. So we do discuss each other's sketches or if someone did like perspective, if somebody got that building like just right. It's like how did you do that? And so we kind of share within our group. This was not our sketch group. This is across the street from where I work. So, and people in the group obviously sketch more than just our Tuesday night sketches. More food. It's a long winter. It's very dark, so we're happy to be. And we've really, in all the places, REI was another great place to sketch. A lot of stuff. Kayaks, shoes, a lot of. And I don't think we've ever gone to a place where people have thrown us out. Except maybe once, but that was all. We're very, we just kind of blend in. And this was actually from a great garden in Point Richmond called the Wave Garden, which one member of the group knew about. So that's another thing. You find out all these places that you never knew were right, in the area. We went to the Day of the Dead celebration in Fruitvale, which was great. So not on a Tuesday night, but on a weekend, 3 or 4 of us went, and that was a perfect event. They had lowrider cars, all kinds of things. And again, nobody just pays any attention to what you're doing. You're just sitting there, drawing away, which is usually just fine. This was down in the mall where Ranch 99 Ranch Market is. There's a wonderful tea store, and we sort of took over their whole store, and they were fine with that. So, yeah, we kept ordering tea. It's true. This was actually at the library when we had a reception for our exhibit. All the volunteer information was up while we were there. Again, from the very cold parking lot. So you can see there's just lots of opportunities and lots of places that you can, and not all urban sketching is urban. I mean, this is up in the Oakland Hills, I think. So really, once you start doing it, I think you just see things that you'd never thought about, like, wow, Or it's a good reason to go places because you think the sketching will be good. Get a little REI action. more food. This is at the German restaurant again. It's on, it's just south of University on San Pablo. And I couldn't begin to pronounce the name of it. What's it called? Gammenkissel. It's very good. And usually we'll tell the people, like we sketched at Poulet one night, we'll leave information about how they can see the sketches on the website, so that, and besides eating, you know, buying food and things, that's a little something else. And this is in Mill Valley. And this is at Freight and Salvage. So being that usually our little sketch kit isn't very big, you can sketch in concerts, you can sketch, you know, not kind of inobtrusively, you can show up. We went to the opera broadcast at AT&T Park. So that wasn't, yeah. So it's the ballpark and it's opera. And this was, I see Sonia laughing, the sketch was probably this big. So I have blown them up way big so you can see them. Again, Treasure Island and then over the holidays, we went to the Wells Fargo History Room during the day in San Francisco. And they were great. They gave us, we all came out with little badges that were deputy something or Wells Fargo agent and little gold coins. So they were very happy we were there. And they're not so many of us, so we overwhelm a place. So people are usually, like I said, quite welcoming. Again, this was winter at Brennan's. And people we didn't know who were sitting at the bar. And usually, very seldom do people notice you're drawing them. And if they do, I've never had anybody object. They come over to see. And they usually say, oh, that's really nice. They never say, that doesn't look like me at all, you know, so. And we went to the Cable Car Museum in San Francisco one afternoon, which was challenging but interesting. A lot of circles. Right down the street at the foot of University. Right down the corner. And, so you can see there's just a wealth of things just around here to draw. You know, we could be drawing right now. No one is. You're all. Whoops. Whoa. And this is when we had the reception for our exhibit. We had a little sketch crawl on Solano Avenue, and this is the nursery. Flowerland right up the street with their new coffee bar. A lot of people ended up there. And again, they were fine. They pulled out chairs for us, and there were probably about 10 people in there sketching that day. And the time we went to Spanger's, they opened a back room for us, which I think it was a banquet room. And of course, they have a million things on all the walls down there. I think we had our own waitress, too. We had all at dinner in there. No one drew her. We drew the people at the German restaurant. And this is, again, the Tilden, the night we went up for the Christmas event. And then this obviously during the day, not a nighttime drawing, but we went to Chinatown in Oakland. Was a great, and in that case, people like wandered around. We weren't, to answer your question, do we all talk? I think people just moved around a little more, so it was a bigger area, but we all agreed when to meet and then showed the sketches. Is this from IKEA also? 10 minutes at IKEA. And this was a,
That picture, the prior picture. If you ever want to read Thatcher Hurd's Axel the Freeway Cat, it's a children's book in our library. It is probably based on that same MacArthur date.
oh,
And it's watercolors like that. Beautiful.
oh, you better go get the book for us.
I'll try to locate it.
Okay. This was the presidential debate they televised here last October, maybe, where the group was in the main room. It was a big night at the IKEA parking garage. Here's a little bit from past time, another area that you'd normally just wander by. This was at the Day of the Dead. There was great, balloons or whatever he was selling. And I think we've all pretty much agree with this, especially after having drawn for a few years around here. This was down at the Berkeley Marina. Oh, I see. Of course. Oh, the dome of the Berkeley Lab is up on the hill. That's how you can tell it's the Berkeley Marina. And one night we drew up in Kensington in the little shopping center area, and this food truck was parked in the gas station. And I think the people who own the food truck contacted Christina and asked for a copy of the a sketch for their, I don't know what, their wall, I guess, yeah. Oh, it's a birthday present for one of the owners of the truck, so. And then again, it doesn't all have to be cities. It can be parts of places you visited. Or hillsides. Oakland Hills.
It's actually Sibley Volcanic Preserve. North here with my dog.
Oh. And then I went to the opening of the stadium after they'd remodeled it, and that was a lot of blue paint and a lot of yellow paint. So, that was one of the events. The reason I went there because I thought, oh, this would be a great thing to sketch. There'd be a lot of people, so I would have never gone to it if I wasn't a sketcher. So, kind of get you out. This is up in Benicia, at the I think it was the first state capitol. And a nice car parked in front of it. And this is Earthly Goods, Shattuck and Vine, yeah. That's a good corner because there's those Victorian buildings right there and a lot. And again, we end up, when it gets dark, we end up in that little food court area. Nice spot. The pizza place is good too. This was in Sue Johnson's on Solano that's been there for, I think, 30 or 40 years. One of our members went in and said to her, wow, this would be a great place to sketch. She says, I'll stay open. She says, I'm not usually open on a Tuesday night, but I'd be happy to stay open. So she left it open. We came in. She says, sketch whatever you want. The lamps, the workshop in the back. It was great. She had refreshments for us also, so very accommodating. And that was a fun place to sketch. This is, again, one of the stores at, in that 99 Ranch Mall. And I believe Michaela drew it, and she didn't paint it there. She painted it when she got home. A little more of the lamp store. So those two sketches were from different sketchers. So, but again, it was interesting to see how everybody sees it. This was up in El Cerrito, where he puts up all the holiday stuff. Yeah. So it was as important, the power lines were as important to the person who drew it as the angels. I mean, that's what she saw as the interesting part of it. We also went one evening to paint at the, we actually heard they were going out of business, which I haven't heard again, so I'm not sure that that happened, but we thought, oh, we better get them before they go. So we were there one evening. This was on a trip up to Mendocino, so, yeah, so again, it's not just around here. More kayaks. Again, different person. All these REI ones have been from different sketchers. Same store, different sketchers. And I forget where this is.
Gigantic still life in my
Oh, painting class, still life. Ah, thank you. And here's a sample of just black and white, no color added. So, and this was from the Cable Car Museum, looking back down Transamerica Pyramid and everything. So there's just all different ways to do it. Here's another great sketch from Sue Johnson's.
So the ink ones, is it a special drawing pen or just a pen one like that?
It's any kind of pen. I brought 3 of the different kinds and we can show them to you after. These are all waterproof, so that if you want to add watercolor later, that's an important thing to think about. But you could just, I mean, I've seen great sketches with just ballpoint pens. I mean, but with ballpoint pens, so. Yeah, or twig and ink. Christina does, she actually makes her own ink, which you don't have to do either, and does it with pen and ink, like a dip pen. So there's just many, many ways to do it. This is pencil. Yeah, pencil and charcoal. So just depends on how messy you want to get. And it also depends, again, on how much you don't want to interrupt something. Like you wouldn't like have all your paints out if you were like at a concert. You'd probably stick with a ballpoint pen or something. And this is up north side. That's a great little street, Euclid there. A lot of great buildings. It's springtime. This is up at the Mendocino Art Center. And that's it. That's our, yeah.
Such verve and assurance. I just wondered, do most people have an art background? I mean, they're all accomplished artists. They're really terrified.
Well, I think a lot of people do have art backgrounds, but a lot of people don't. I think it's literally the more you do it, the better you like what you're doing. And being in a group, it's like it's fine to go out and, like I said, you don't have to show what you did. You can just enjoy doing it. And personally, when I started drawing the people on Bart, I never drew people before. And now I'm really good at from about here up, because that's what I can see I'm not so good when they're standing because I haven't quite got that, but I can do really well from about halfway up. But it's just from doing it like 2 or 3 or 4 times a week, just more and more. Yeah.
I'm sure you're all familiar with Poem Madonna. Has he ever come to speak to
The Oliver, Paul Madonna, the Oliver Coffee guy, who has he always has a picture in an illustration in the pink section of the Sunday paper. Yeah, he's great. His name is Paul Madonna, and the name of his column is called All Over Coffee. And there's some story behind that, which I'm not sure, but yeah, he's great.
We wanted to give you a certificate of appreciation.
Oh my!
For coming here.
Wow.
From the Y and the library.
Oh, all right.
Okay.
For our Urban Sketcher group.
For your urban sketching
So
group. Yeah.
we'll put this on our wall if we only had one. You know? Thank you, Dan.
Okay. And do you want to tell us how you'd like the rest of the
Yes.
morning to go?
So what we were thinking is we have paper. Dan has given us pencils, clipboards. We were thinking that for like about 5 or 10 minutes, you just go wander around the library, do a quick sketch, and then come back, and we'll just look at what people sketched. And we also, if you want to stay and talk to the sketchers, we have our actual sketchbooks if you'd like to see it, or ask any questions, or so. Obviously, ask any other questions during the time. So, but I'd encourage you to just go out and sketch in the library, or just step out in the parking lot and come back and show us what you did.
The flowers all around the perimeter are really nice too. So there are some really nice, colorful scenes out. No, that was January. It's on our. We have pictures of it on our blog.
Oh, and there's some samples up in front from our exhibit.